Today we're going to be working with radical functions and rational exponents. So the nth root would be a radical sign with an n. So remember, this is our square root. We've been working with cube roots and fourth roots. So let's find each real number root. So here, let's first factor our 8. So we have 2 times 4 is 8. We factor out our 4 into 2's. So that means we have a negative, and then we have 2 times 2 times 2. So if we want to have a cube root of 3, we have one group, and it's a negative 2. So let's look at our 81. So 81 is 9 times 9, and we can factor 9 into be 3 and 3. So we have all those. So we have the fourth root of 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Fourth root, we have a group of 4. So we have one group. So our answer is 3. This one, we have the square root of negative 100. This is no real roots because we cannot square a number that's negative. There's no way we can get a negative number when you multiply the same number twice. So the square root of 49 is 7 times 7. So the square root of 7 times 7. We have one group of 2. So our answer is 7. So let's simplify each radical expression. Use absolute values when we need to. So if I factor out my 4, it's 2 times 2. So we have one group of 2, so we can pull out a 2. Here we have 6 x's. And with the square root, that means we're looking for our groups of 2. And we have 3, so we can take out 3 groups of x's. But here we have to make sure absolute value is signed. An example of it when you use it is when we start with an even power and we end up with an odd. So since we had an x with a degree of 6, now we have x degree of 3. So it needs to be an absolute value. Here we have 3 a's being multiplied together. So that means we have one group of a's we can pull out being a cube root. And we have 6 b's. So that means we have 2 groups of b's we can pull out. And here we don't need any absolute value because we have a power of 3 and a power of 1, so it started an odd. Power of 6 is the power of 2. So let's take a look at our cube root, our fourth root. So if we have 4 x's, that means we have one group of 4's we can take out. If we have 8 y's, there's 2 groups of 4, so we have y squared. So any absolute values, we start with x to the 4th, now we're at x to the 1st, y to the 8th, y to the 2nd. So just the x needs our absolute value. Here, let's first look at our fraction. Square root of 1/4 is really the square root of 1 divided by the square root of 4. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 4 is 2. So we end up with 1/2. If we have 4 x's, but working with the square root, that means we have 2 groups of x's. We have 6 y's. We have 3 groups of y's. So this needs absolute values because we went from a degree of 6 to a degree of 3. So let's find the 2 real number solutions for each equation. So if we fourth root both sides, so we end up with x equals plus or minus the fourth root of 81 is 3. So in x squared, we do the square root of both sides. So x equals plus or minus 0.4. 4/10. And our last one, if we do the square root of both sides, x equals, so we're doing the square root of 4 divided by the square root of 25. So square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 25 is 5. So our two answers are positive 2/5 and a negative 2/5. Look at the back side. We want to find all the real indicated roots. So the square roots of negative 25 is going to have no real roots. Because once again, we cannot square a negative number. Cube roots of negative 27 is going to be a negative 3. The fourth roots of 16 is going to be a plus or a minus 2. square roots of 121 is really the square root of 121 divided by the square root of 81. So we're going to have plus or minus. Square root of 121 is 11. Square root of 81 is 9. Cube roots of 125 is 5. And the fourth roots of negative 81 is no real roots. It's just like our square roots. Fourth root, we cannot have a square or a fourth root of a negative number.